States has always been a country of freedom, a freedom that everyone around the world deserves to have. Unfortunately, many countries do not have that kind of freedom. The only logical thing for people who do not want to live in these countries to do is to come to a country that has these freedoms. Most of the U.S. makes entering the country very difficult for immigrants, but there needs to be places where people can come into the country without fear of deportation. Today, I want to persuade you to believe as I do that the U.S. needs sanctuary cities. We are a country built on immigrants and should offer sanctuary to those in need of it from other countries in sanctuary cities. The concept of sanctuary cities dates back to ancient Greece, but today the term sanctuary city is described as any jurisdiction that does not fully comply with federal immigration efforts. Sanctuary cities come into play when an undocumented immigrant comes into contact with the police. Once an immigrant is arrested, their information gets put into a federal database that is shared with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE for short. ICE can then issue a detainer asking the police to hold that person in custody until ICE can pick up that person for immigration detection and eventually deportation. In a sanctuary city, the police will release an arrested immigrant after he's been cleared of charges, posted bail, or completed jail time for whatever he was arrested for. This encourages good relationships between undocumented immigrants and law enforcement, as people are less afraid to call police when law enforcement is needed. The modern concept of sanctuary cities can be traced back to the 1980s when refugees from El Salvador, Guatemala, and Nicaragua fled to America to escape civil war, repression, and economic devastation. Many citizens offered these refugees a safe place to stay. Thousands of people from El Salvador and Guatemala, detained near the United States-Mexico border, were deported without having the opportunity to acquire legal advice. Many who were not immediately detained were assumed to agree to return to their countries. This conflict is carried on to this very day, as stated by Boone in Sanctuary City. On January 25, 2017, President Trump signed an executive order to cut federal funding in sanctuary cities in order to get them to stop providing refuge for undocumented immigrants. The move sparked immediate backlash. Protesters took to the streets, and many mayors of sanctuary cities said they would continue to provide refuge to immigrants. This order caused the city of Chicago to sue the Trump administration for $2.2 million in federal funds, and at least 7 other cities and counties are refusing to cooperate with the new federal rules. Seattle and San Francisco, as well as the state of California, are included among these, as stated by Babwin in Chicago asked for national halt to Trump immigration rules. In a court hearing, attorneys representing Chicago said that more than 30 jurisdictions across the U.S. filed briefings supporting Chicago's lawsuit. According to Babwin, Judge Sessions can't deny grant money for sanctuary cities. After President Trump's victory, Santa Fe's mayor became the public face for sanctuary cities. As stated by Lee, in New Mexico, mayor becomes public face of U.S. sanctuary cities after he denounced Trump's renewed vows to deport millions of immigrants. Santa Fe isn't the typical U.S. sanctuary city. Its immigrant communities are dwarfed by those in major cities with sanctuary-like policies, with an immigrant history that dates back to the Spanish conquest. It's bigger than federal funding, Mayor Gonzalez said. It's really an issue about the values of Santa Fe and what we prioritize when it comes to how we want to live. The United States claims to be a country of freedom and a safe place for those in need. Yet every day people are forced to return to countries of crime and atrocities that many cannot even imagine that they once escaped. Children who grew up only knowing the United States as their home are sent to places they are completely unfamiliar with and likely do not even remember. This is why the U.S. needs sanctuary cities.